Welcome back to Cutting It Up. I'm your host, Liz Groeschen, and today I am joined by Sula Johnson, death doula, and I cannot wait for this conversation. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
How did you become a death doula? I'm just going to jump right into the cutting and the death.
Yeah. I didn't come to this work by experiencing a massive loss, which a lot of folks in my profession do. I actually just came to it through my own anxiety.
Okay.
But, growing up, I was really super paranoid about loss. I was obsessed with it. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. I spent a lot of time observing and noticing endings and very sensitive to goodbyes. And I knew
any kind of goodbye,
really.
Mm-hmm.
And that just became kind of like a theme. I was raised by an astrologer. My stepdad is a Buddhist chaplain. I think I had a lot of people around me who were talking about the impermanent nature of life and life cycles. And as a child, that gave me actually both an understanding and an anxiety about it.
Okay. In equal measure.
Yeah. But then I was living in Toronto and I saw this course. And at the time I was working in politics. And I was like, I feel like I just need to do that. It was this obvious path. And I expressed it to this person that was in a Buddhist group, it's called a Sangha.
Okay.
Which means community. And this woman was like, you have to do it. I'm going to pay for it for you. And it was it all came together so fast that it felt, those things that you don't have to think about. It just the path just paths.
Opens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's when I did my first training.
Okay.
And I learned from so many great people. And I just really felt I needed to learn to do this. It wasn't necessarily this needs to be my career at that time. It was more how am I going to honor the lives of everybody who I love so much? How am I going to deal with this loss? How am I going to be there for them as they die, which was where my anxiety was. It wasn't in my own death. It was in the idea of losing everyone.
Okay.
So I really was just I'm going to learn things to be able to cope and to honor them and to maybe, who knows, find some different way to be with it.
Did you find a different way to be with it through the course, or is this still a journey?
It's still a journey, and that was my first course, and I've done a few trainings since. And that was in 2017, so it's been 9 years. It's been a lot of learning. I don't know, I too am trying to grasp it. I too am trying to make sense of what ultimately is just this great mystery.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know that I have any more peace with it, but I think that I have a lot more skills, and I've discovered more clarity around what my role is in it and my relationship to it. And ultimately it's just like everybody else, it's to have a relationship with our impermanent nature, not necessarily to be at peace with it. I don't believe in being at peace with dying. I really don't. Yeah, I think that's a huge ask of us and people.
Is that contrary to death doulas on average? Or is it just people, everybody is so different?
I think everyone's so different. I do know, a lot of doulas who are, there's this pressure once you enter into wellness spaces or caregiving spaces to make things really palatable, really
gentle.
We're gentle. We're going to find peace in this. We're going to make it, wrap it up in this bow. And dying isn't like that. And dying is hard, and it deserves a lot of respect and reverence and honoring. And I think in that there's possibility, but to say like, we're going to work at being at peace with this, I think that just is like such an incredible pressure for our species. And there's a reason that we are such a death phobic culture. And I don't think going so far in the opposite direction of being like, the goal is to be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
We all die. Like, that's true. And also, we
Yeah.
all die. What does
Yeah.
that mean? And what does that mean in our everyday lives and in our culture? And how can we be in that?
I think it's refreshing to hear that you have that perspective on it while you're really helping someone or someone's through this transition.
Yeah. I think that that's just my personal approach to things. There's definitely going to be people who are like, maybe they're more evolved than me.
Right.
I don't know. Even the nature of the work, I can't control so much in it. I can't control anything. I can be there with people. We're both on this like journey together, but I can't take away the pain.
Right. Right.
You know, I can't, you're going to lose someone. And again, it's like, how can we be in that together? And I think when we face it, there's possibility, but I don't think the goal is peace, you know? And that's it. I think that there are people who have like peaceful deaths, you know? I think that's a different thing. I'm not saying that doesn't exist.
Sure. What does a training involve for being a death doula?
Oh, this is like such a big area because we don't have like a governing body doulas. Like we haven't really been, for lack of a better word, legitimized by the system. So there's a whole very vast network of like educational programs out there, and I was really fortunate and I felt really solid in the training. The people that I learned from who were, you know, everywhere from like former hospice nurses to chaplains to, you know, people who focus on ritual bathing and shrouding a body, to funeral directors, embalmers, green burial folks. You know, we learned from different cultures, different rites of passage within the dying process, and
Oh, that's really cool.
post-death care. And yeah, you got to seek those kinds of trainings out. They're not all like that. And but I've had like a few really solid trainings, I feel like, that have been really helpful. And then there's lawyers who are like talking about estates and wills and all that kind of stuff. Also super important. Advanced care directives. There's lots to cover. Dying's a lot of work, y'all.
It's so much work.
It is. It really is.
There's been a few deaths in my extended family this past year, and watching my cousins and my mom and her siblings work through everything.
Yeah.
It's incredible the amount of work that is involved with death.
Totally. And family dynamics like get really magnified.
Very.
It's kind of like a wedding. Like when people die and when they get married and like all these other
Yes.
kind of major rites of passage, every family dynamic, it's like a magnifying glass gets put on it. So whatever is there is just gonna be like there.
There. Are there any cultural, or just cultures more broadly, that you were really struck by, maybe their rituals around death that you learned about during your training?
One area that I really focused on in my training is bathing and shrouding. And that's actually one of the most ancient rituals that we have as humans. I mean, think of mummies. Like, they were shrouded. Muslims and Jewish traditions have like a very strong practice of, bathing pretty immediately after death. The shrouding process also happens pretty quickly.
Forgive my naivete. Is shrouding really done in Western culture now?
That is like a huge passion of mine. And that's like where the crux of so much of my work lies right now, is offering this service to folks who aren't necessarily of a specific religious background.
Mm-hmm.
But the short answer is like, no, but it's growing.
It's fascinating that it's just not here.
Yeah.
It's from my perspective.
It isn't a part of the dominant culture in terms of end-of-life care, but I think that is changing, and it's totally possible and available to you right here in Brooklyn.
With Sula Johnson, death doula.
This is like the weirdest, like, I feel like I'm pay-per-view advertising.
We're not. That was supposed to be a joke. That was supposed to be a joke in a way. But also, if you need it, I mean,
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's a beautiful thing. It's an incredible thing. It's like,
yeah. Tell me more about it. Like,
mm-hmm.
What called to you about this in particular?
Yeah, it took me a minute to get into like this aspect of the work and feeling really clear that this was what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. Essentially, when people die, there's this tendency in our culture to move really quickly with it, clean things up, remove any remnants of death. Not necessarily the person, but of death.
It's really sad.
Yeah, and I think that there's actually this incredible opportunity after death for people to be in this space that I honestly don't really have language for. It's so sacred. It is this liminal, very holy space and time. And if you have the fortune, quite frankly, of being with someone during death and after death, there's a lot that kind of can transpire and come out in that time together. And, I facilitate a process where people kind of gently bathe their loved ones in essential oils with flowers and music going, and say goodbye to the body that lived this huge and sacred life,
mm-hmm.
whatever it was,
mm-hmm.
and get a chance to say goodbye to all the body parts that worked so hard every day and honor the body in that way. And I think having this pause after death and having someone be able to kind of guide and facilitate the beginning of a new relationship with your person,
mm-hmm.
It can be really life-changing. It's already available to people, but I think sometimes we need a guide to, especially in Western culture, to to turn us towards what actually we know very inherently, what is almost primal in our being. The way that we know how to birth, like we know how to die. We actually know how to care for the dying, and often people are surprised by what they end up being comfortable with or what they want to do with their loved one who's just died. And doulas can really help facilitate that. And I think bringing back some holding of that particular space and time is really necessary for our Western culture. We don't do it right now.
There's so much I feel like that's so necessary in our culture that we don't do.
Yeah.
And it's so sad that I feel like that is just such a beautiful way to end a life,
mm-hmm.
is to put as much care forward as you can towards that life.
Yes. Yes. We go through so much in our living. Mm-hmm. We have trauma. We have family stuff. We have changing of identity and selves and body. We have illness. We have chronic illness. We have births and deaths and reinventions and sorrows and movement, and it goes on and on. We create things. Mm-hmm. It's we do a lot in a life, and we're just gonna keep on
trucking
going
along.
Yeah. I'm everyone stop, slow down. What just happened here is kind of my approach.
How do you slow down for yourself while you're living?
Ugh.
Are you able to?
It's hard at this time with so much going on, particularly here in America, but everywhere. And, you know, living in fascism and like trying to know how.
I think about this all the time. And, you know, I'm watching things unfold on the news that is horrifying, but I still feel like, oh, I should get my work done.
Yeah.
And I can't. And then I'm like, wait, how am I supposed to navigate this?
Yeah. I'm with you. This work is inherently, I feel like, in resistance to so much right now.
I think it is 1000%.
And so I try and find solace in that. I think that, I mean, in terms of my actual practices and day to day, the like move, especially as, you know, white people is like leaning into what kind of actions, what kind of support we can give, what kind of reimagining we can offer. Part of that is through my work, which it's a resistance. It is, because it's a system of care, and death work is super political, if you want to say it that way. Like, how people live ends up being how we die, and if the systems that we're living within are causing harm and oppression and violence, I can't offer someone a good death. I can't I can still offer support, but the conditions that made up their lives, that's where the work also is, in addition to the dying process, you know? And so that was not an answer about how to slow down. I don't know how to slow down. I don't know. I go, like, if you want me to tell you what I do to take care of myself, I walk in Prospect Park and I lie down on the ground. It does something for your nervous system. That, like, if I'm working with someone, I've had like a really intense few days of just, you know,
death,
emotional, energetic care. Dying. I go and I lie down on the ground after until I feel like I can start to. That's like the beginning.
Like your nervous system reset.
Yes. That's like the first step.
I always say that Shavasana is my favorite yoga pose.
Yeah.
And this really validates me, because I think that everybody's like, ha ha ha.
No.
And I'm like, but I really do like it.
I know.
Even though I'm just laying there.
Yeah, it's more than just lying there. It's like doing something else.
You. How do you advise others in how to take care of themselves in and out of this transition that they may be going through, like with a loved one?
You know, care looks so different for people. How to take care of themselves is such a very personal and unique.
There's not a one size fits all.
No, there really isn't. And there's actually so much in our relationship to care, receiving care, giving care, that is so rooted in like childhood stuff, conditioning, cultural stuff. Like, it's a big area.
I hadn't thought about that.
There certainly isn't one size fits all, one care model fits all. On that note, I think it's really important to consider how you like being cared for in your life and what feels comfortable for you, so others, assuming that you have time in your dying process, which we really don't know, but others know how to take care of you. But for me, it's like a process of being with what is. Like, I think that as a doula, that's my job, is to be with what is. And it's to turn towards, to sit with. I think that is care for people. I think that it gets really tricky, you know, when people are dying, lots of different projection comes up. And there's lots of comments, which I'm sure you've heard, of people being like, you know, at least this happened, or they died doing something that they loved, or
at least they're in a peaceful place now.
Exactly. And those things can be really harmful.
I see it the same way I see it as like unsolicited advice when you have a new child.
Right.
Like, maybe that worked for you.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to work for me.
Yes.
Chances are nobody asked for it.
Yeah. trying to kind of like facilitate space for everyone to be with what is, you know, that might mean them running from things or needing to avoid or be in denial. And like, it's my job to just hold the space of what is the reality of it. And not, you know, there's so much emphasis, I think, on the people around a dying person. Like, oh, they're going to lose this person. How can we support them? And that is true, 100%, of course. And also, the person who's dying is leaving their whole life, all their relationships, their identity, their work. We're going through one loss of a person. And I mean, I'm not saying that that doesn't have ripple effects. Certainly it does. There's many losses within a relationship. But the person who's dying is, for me, really the focus of like, how can I be with them in this as they
really
face
support them.
This process, which I don't know anything about. I mean, I don't know what it is. You know, I can't. I haven't died.
Right.
But they are there, and so how can I be with them?
It's really beautiful.
In that,
I wish I was like more out in the open.
mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you feel like you have to kind of educate people on right away, or that somebody might not know about, and you're like, oh no, wait, like,
yeah, there's lots I want to say to that. I could talk for a long time about this, but you know, everyone deserves care, and we don't live in a culture that promotes that or values it. And it's up to us to create a caring world and a caring economy. And I learned that from my mother. You know, the feeling of being really stressed with something and people are like, how can I help? And you're like, you're so in your process that you don't know how to ask for help. That's often what happens with people that I start working with, is that they don't know how to incorporate me. They think it's more work to either explain or bring someone new into a process. And that's a huge hurdle that I find with my work, is trying to prove or tell someone that this is a valuable service. I'm going to offer you energy that I don't even always have the language for, and we're going to travel this space together, but ultimately it's your relationship. And it's, for me, it's about how can I like keep the space and do the honoring. But I think there's a lot of resistance to receiving care in this culture.
So much.
This like particularly white Western culture. It's like we just don't have the roots in that. But that feeling of like, I'm just going to do it myself. It's easier that way.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to encourage people to consider otherwise. And before it gets to a certain point, I think we can all be contemplating our deaths, building a relationship with our mortality, and really making plans. And also know that like doula work is a real gift to your community, to yourself, and to your relationships. We're here to take some of those questions away so you can just be with the person, because this time in life is precious.
How does somebody like myself, who's like, okay, I don't think that this is something that's going to happen anytime soon, God willing, but what do I need to start considering for myself and my family? What are my first steps?
You know, it's never too early to think about the end of your life, because we don't know when that is. But in terms of really concrete actions, I mean, you can hire a doula at any point in time. You can hire a doula to help facilitate some end-of-life plannings, to help get certain affairs in order, help facilitate conversations maybe between you and your partner around, if you were to stop communicating tomorrow, would he know, he or she, they, would they know how to take care of you? Would they know what your decisions are? Who are the people that are going to like come in and try and care for you? Will they know how? Do you not want certain people around? You know, there's lots of issues with family, and people kind of show up out of nowhere a lot of the times, and I think a huge part of it is actually considering care, considering how you like to be cared for, what you're comfortable with, what you're really not, what your ideal situation would be, so people can work back from that and try and like at least have a place to start to know how to honor you in your life. And that allows a lot of ease for the community. In the height of all the decision making, in the crisis, in the survival mode of, you know, something sudden happening or prolonged illness, like it's hard to decision make. And there's a lot of decisions. So putting those down, you can hire doulas to help. Also really important for us like sandwich generationers to be considering having these conversations with our parents and not waiting for something to happen and then making the call. You know, it's like you're not going to want to do it. There isn't a good time, but the best time is sooner than later.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah, truly.
Okay, on that beautiful note, this is when we share our collages with each other and the world.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, I love it. It's kind of hard to see because of the glare. Oh, Blair is going to get in on it.
It looks like a page out of National Geographic and the Bible. Like,
no,
combined.
that is exactly what collage is for. There's no wrong way to collage. Where can people find you if they are interested in learning more about your services?
Yeah. Piecing-out.com. I have 3 services: end-of-life doula care, post-death vigil, and bathing and shrouding services. Happy to talk about any of those with people.
Amazing.
Free consultations are available. I have an Instagram account that I'm very, very bad at.
Instagram's hard.
Content creation on, because I'm not a content creator.
You're not.
Side note. It's called Peacing Out. PEACE _N_out. Anyway, Peace in Out.
I'll put it on somewhere down there in the edit. It's great. Thank you so much for being here and educating me on all of this.
Thinking about it, thinking about your life and end of life and having the curiosity. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Okay, I suck at sign outs. So every time I practice something new, the best one is, now it's your turn, go cut something up before you die.
Because you're gonna.
I feel like that's gonna work. That is definitely gonna work. We're getting the thumbs up from Blair. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Robin, are you okay?
Yeah. I am. That was just so moving. Can I give you a hug?
Can I give you
Oh my gosh.